Let's keep it like this, huh? I got one of my lights. Forgive me, that's one of my lights right there. So anyway, I wanted to talk about Farrakhan, right? And the beautiful, I want to say speech or lecture, right? Speech to the people and lecture to the Jew, right? His lecture is like, listen, man, we know your truth. We know the truth, right? So inside of us knowing that truth, you can't deceive us, right? And so there's a sword over your head. Now, I want to say, I had talked about this. So this is really like just an update because I actually got the video. And so I'll be playing in the back while going over some points within it, right? So I'll be shifting over here real quick. Let's go over to this set,
Our own brother.
right? Put that back to the beginning there. Now, so you see, we got the Farrakhan in the back, right? In this, right, I did not understand, why Kanye was upset. Like, I just couldn't understand, right? So I can see his feelings towards it because I kind of got that whole yeah, we need to get on the line and discuss this because it was like certain things that Farrakhan said, right? So with that, I was thrown for a loop. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I didn't understand the Kanye's response to it, right? So after I seen the video, and was kind of directed to where he might have taken this offense, my thing is, you know, he was talking. I think he was conflating certain things, meaning that he was just shifting in from one topic to another. And I think that was where kind of the confusion is. But then again, I think it was the contract references and the same question that I've always had since day one of Kanye announcing that he was a millionaire, right? And then inside of him announcing he was this, I mean, billionaire, right? Him announcing he was this billionaire. So, me, I'm like, it was just odd. I questioned it myself, you know, but I wasn't into the Yeezys and all of that, so I wasn't taking account, what it might be. But I just didn't. But I just knew his situations. Like the minute he announced that, I believe like the breakup was taking place and these things just started oddly coming out. And he was messing with Hoover from out of Chicago. So I didn't know if it was, the image of the Kardashians, protecting the image with that, but I knew it was something wrong. So, like if you see my old videos, I was always referencing this. I was always saying, just like Kanye and his antics and, him taking pictures with the white power people and, the white lives matter. So he knows what's in that contract is what I feel was the reference when it came to um the minister Farrakhan, Louis Farrakhan, right? So I'm gonna just play this and add, you know how I'm gonna do. I'm gonna let it play and then, as he's talking, give a little insight from my perspective, right?
Our own brother. Because he did something for a principle. You will too. Life is bigger than paper with a white man's image on it.
Right. Now I want to say something. That's very important because that was one of the foundations laid down when Julius Caesar becoming deified and becoming basically Jesus Christ. So inside of that, these images was engraved and put out to give the superiority, even, and cuz this all works through imagery. And this is what he's addressing, like the image of these rappers, these sports celebrities, and how that image is not even theirs to own. It's like the NBA owns your name and likeness, right? That's why they could put it in video games. So that's why Jordan would be the player because of he owns his, whereas other people they don't own it. It could be the label or whatever that actually owns those people. So, the money thing is very important, in what he's saying.
Life is bigger than a nice house and a nice car and a lot of bling bling. Life is bigger than an Oscar. Life is bigger than a belt. Life is bigger than something that says I am the best at what I do. I'm the most valuable player, or my team won. But as a people, we are losing. We cannot afford to lose any of you.
None.
You are our kith and our kin, our flesh and our blood. And so I wanted to say something to help us to come together rather than break apart.
I appreciate it. I appreciate
Because it's Ye and Kari today.
it. Yep.
But what they're doing to them is to make you, who are in the good graces of them, so you think. You see what we just did? Ye lost $2 billion in a few days. You might.
Now, I'm going to say, right, this is where Ye, basically took offense. For me, I think this is where, he took offense. But like I also say, this is where I question the same thing too. So this is why I've always been not, in totality with Kanye's gripe. You know what I'm saying? Because Kanye's gripe is about those contracts and those dealings. So he- he's arguing about their business savviness, but he played the game. Remember, this is about entertainment. So the things that he did in that circle is how he obtained this. Just keep that in mind when we mention him. Well, when I do, it's yeah, on the business side, but your business was actually aiding and abetting with our problem. Jay Z coming out with Lucifer, which produced, but here it is, you coming out with songs of, you know, what you call it? Jesus walk. So you was this open contradiction, knowing Jay-Z turning around calling himself Hova and these type of things. So for me as an observer, I'm like, well, I agree. Those is inside your contract. Those are the things that you came across. So it's pretty hard for you to huddle up with your victims, us, the community, right? And then turn around and say, you know, we're this victim and those are our enemy. I agree. Those are our enemies, but you aided and abetted them. So I can't have this certain passion for him. That's not what, you know, the minister is saying, but I'm saying, I'm just throwing that in there.
Wonder, did he really have it? He lost that much that soon? You know when you signed a contract with him. I don't know what's in the contract, but you do. So evidently, Adidas and all the companies that Brother Kanye is signed to or was signed to until Mr. Ari Emanuel told everybody just drop him. Beloved brothers and sisters, look, your day is soon coming. I'm asking you stop beating each other up in the public. Stop doing that. But of course, that's what the master wants us to do. There's a slave here that's getting out of place, and teach him a lesson.
Now, right there, again, I think this is where Kanye is like, wait a minute. I'm the slave, and I'm sorry to say, yes, Kanye. If I'm not saying that's what he's saying, but as me, you know, taking it as, you know, this, hold on, you know, this right here, right? As you see, pardon me, as you see this right here, I have to say, yes, you have been a slave. You have sung and danced and kept us entertained with your antics. You have shown your affiliation with the other side, right? So, yes, I can agree when he's saying what he is saying. If he's saying it the way I perceive, I'm not saying that's what he's saying, right? I got to clarify that. Um, I am not saying that that's what the minister is saying. I'm saying if I'm seeing it through, you know, this part of the the video, right? I can see Kanye saying, "Wait a minute, I'm this dude who has this money, right?" and and you know all of these other things. So yes, you were getting out of line, and they're saying, you know, put him back in place. Now, whether you see it that way, and whether he's not, or whether he's saying those words, I'm not saying that. I'm saying as I listen, and I'm judging and making judgment of the person, right? That already have. These are nothing to do with him. These are the things that I've said actually before, you know, I heard this speech. So for me, it's like documented. I'm not piggybacking off of, you know, Farrakhan. I've questioned this situation myself. I've always said it, never said that he didn't, but I question, you know, how this came about, these antics and everything that followed, you know, after that, right? And so, you know, if I'm judging it off of those contexts, those things, then yeah, I'm gonna say, you know, you've been acting up, right? You've been a slave inside their vision, right? That's been acting up, right? Because they got you to where you at. and now we're gonna show you how we give it up. I think that's just what he was saying. I don't have no proof of it, right? Outside of what we have here, but I'm not gonna, put any words outside of his words, right? So I don't know. I'm just, listening to it and saying, okay, I perceive that's what he was saying, and I think that's where Kanye, felt the fits. But if he was saying that, I'm in defense of the minister in this situation. I'm not saying he's saying that, but if he was, hey, I just gave you my take on it on why I agree with that statement. If indeed that's the statement that was being made.
I'm asking you stop beating each other up in the public. Stop doing that. But of course, that's what.
See, now, from right there, I think he was actually talking to all of the, you know, um, Kevin Durant and, all of these, Barclays and all of these people, on both sides. Like we saying Kanye was saying, Kyrie Irving. But right now we were just talking about Kanye. But I think he's saying, the LeBron James, he's saying that these people, if y'all are not with the growth, right? Y'all should be calling him up in private and saying that. We as the public, we are usually swayed by, y'all opinions. So in Louis the Farrakhan's opinion of from what I decipher from it is, listen, whether we are right or wrong and who's the Hebrews and these type of things, that man is growing. Let that man search and explore as if he wasn't a celebrity, right? And if you do know something, pull his coat and say, nah, Kyrie, yada, 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 this information right here, you might want to look into this. And do like how the Jews do when it comes down to them doing things and go talk to that man, find out, you know what I'm saying, but don't cash anything because that's not an internal beef, that's an external beef. Now if it's something internal like what you doing amongst our people, say like an offset situation or something, I could see the voicing out loud because that's our way of telling each other we do not approve of what's going on. So we can be mad at a Charleston White for what he does, right, in his antics, but he's still addressing the a lot of the foulness, that they put within our community. He's showing you it because he got their Confederate flags on and all of that. So, he's showing you them. And so he's also using their logic against you. So that's why a lot of the stuff that Charleston White says is just their regurgitation of mental enslavement on us, right? So I just wanted to point that out.
What the master wants us to do. There's a slave here that's getting out of place, and teach him a lesson. Beat him up. I'm saying to you, don't do that.
See, right there. I think that's just what Kanye took in offense.
Call your brother.
Call him.
Come and
That's
sit
what he
down
said to
with
do,
us.
right?
Tell us about this movie.
But he's talking
I
Kyrie.
understand that Brother Shaq, Keel, O'Neal, put it up.
And that's what I wanted to point out. Now, as you see, inside there, it's him talking to, the Shacks and all of these people about Kyrie, while he just simply shifted over. So right there, is the confusion. That's why I said how he can perceive it. And I can see his perception just due to the fact that those are the kind of things that I would say to, to Kanye. But I'm not saying that that's what he's saying to him. You see what I'm saying? Because he's talking about Kyrie right inside of that same breath. So he's not talking to Kanye, right? But Kanye and me, right? Because that's what I would be saying to him. So I'm saying it as I was listening for what would make Kanye feel that way. Like this part of the video was really just me trying to figure out what would make Kanye feel like the minister was coming at him. And so as I listened, this is like really the only part of it that I could say, you know, did he take this as, the minister coming at him and me as an idiot, like as, someone who finds certain things funny, here it is. I'm taking my opportunity to say, well, if you did, I personally feel that way. But I truly don't think that's what the minister was saying. You see what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that's what he was saying. I think Kanye took it that way right at that part, and I think I'm just egging on, and taking my opportunity to go at Kanye because, like I said, I only support him like 60%. So I got to take my 40% jab at him. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
In his theater. Go see it.
Proverbs to Shaq is
You don't want
definitely
to
good.
read Secret Relationship with Blacks and Jews that we financed, we researched.
Yes, sir.
And you told me when we sat down. We had dinner together in the home of a Jewish rabbi. I went, others went. I brought some of my people, and there were two rabbis. There was Irv Kupcinet, great reporter for the Chicago Sun-Times.
I call him the sometimes.
And after we had a beautiful dinner together, we looked like we were going to be on a page together where the controversy could stop.
Hmm?
But the rabbi said to me, this is love fest that is near the end of the dinner. But then he reached in his pocket and pulled out an envelope and said, but this is tough love. We want something from you.
Those are those contracts that he was referring to. And like I said, I think Kanye took that offensive, but as you see, he's talking about, Kyrie and those contracts. Like, you know, you just play, right? You anything else, we own you. So like, whereas at least a Kanye, that's what he's going out there for. Now, that's what they have him there for. He's a voice, right? He put on antics. Whereas the other is simply entertainment and their surroundings and the things that's implemented, the Pledge of Allegiance and those, you see what I'm saying? So those are two different things. And that's why I'm just addressing, the Kanye part of, them saying he did, he this, that, and the third. And as far as the minister, like when I heard that video, I said, like I said, I just had to figure out. And so as I hear this, that's the reason why I missed it. Like somebody had to point that section out to me for me to even, crack the joke about it. But in reality, if you see when he first did the video, when I first dropped the video, and I said I heard, the minister, I couldn't understand where that came from, so I had to go back and watch it.
And they said, Minister, we have to watch you over a protracted time to make sure that you've changed. Then we had just put out the first volume of The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews.
Huh?
And you all told me, we want you to renounce this book. Because it's a great calumny against the Jewish people. You said that to me. You said to me, nobody that is deemed an enemy to the Jewish people is ever written of well.
Understand that. I mean, he addresses it, but understand, history is written by the victor. The people who's telling you that they are the victims, are now explaining to him that they the villains in some sort, because hey, they write the story. They won while you thinking it's something else. That's why you got to do your history. He refers to certain things, and if you know my shows, you already know how I give it up. So you can do that research, but I don't play with them, right? Or anybody for that matter.
In history. You control much of the publishing industry.
Hmm?
So if you write the books,
Yep.
your people are heavily placed in the media. So when you all get ready to dog us out,
There go
you
the
call
science.
those in
There go the science.
that you pay.
There you go.
Then you told me that if I did all the things that you all asked me to do, you would clean up my image. You knew you dirtied it. But I'm not going to beg and bow to you to clean up my image. God is sufficient for me. And God is sufficient for Kyrie and Ye. And God is sufficient for everyone who has been made a millionaire, a multimillionaire, a billionaire. And then you call your man at Forbes and tell them, put it in the book that there's a new billionaire black kid on the block.
The same reference that you hear, Kanye make inside the video, right? Forbes, they still had to say it went like he's saying a billionaire, but then what he said, Forbes still had to say he had 400 million. You see what I'm saying? So regardless to what, these same people are mentioned. So again, I'm confused on, Kanye's version, because like I said, if I'm being honest, to me, separating my personal view of certain things, right? I can honestly say I don't understand, how he's perceiving. I'm perceiving it that way because I'm looking for what he he could possibly have a beef with this conversation here, right? So I'm looking, I'm y'all watching with me, and I'm trying to figure out. So I'm laughing at the parts where it's like, okay, maybe this right here. We got the minister. He laughing too. He laughing with me. Like right here, this got to be what Kanye is making reference to. So we both laughing. He got the Bill Cosby pudding smile.
There's Miss Oprah,
There she go.
one of the most beautiful women you could ever have as a friend.
Hmm?
But now she has something to lose
What?
if she's not careful. Careful means you have to guard your mouth. So you used to be able to open it.
Oprah.
I'm going to do that again.
Do it again.
You used to be able to open it. Now, when they pull that chain, now you can't find your voice.
And right there, I just don't understand why Kanye is not hearing him calling the troops in. You know, calling the troops and saying, yo, man, y'all gotta open your mouths. Y'all can't let these people be attacked. We sat back and we watched this happen to the Nick Cannons. And the only person who really stepped in, well, I can't say he stepped in. He probably stepped in it with him, was the Professor Griff. But even Professor Griff, was putting a heads up on him. Like yada yada yada. This is how they did me. You see what I'm saying? So when we saw them come out, this is me. I'm the type of person that, I'm like the Earth, right? The Earth has, these different layers and atmospheres, right? And on a daily basis, you probably wouldn't take, any thought to it. But, those atmospheres burn up even asteroids from attacking. So what I mean is, the Earth is always defending itself, even when you think it's not, right? So people like me are always defending the people, right? Even when y'all not, even when you saying, the Gucci protest is over, I'm still with it. When you say, yo, we're not wearing Reeboks, I still haven't wore it since. And this is from the 80s. So, you know what I mean? Like, to show that I've always been honest, like I'm one of them people that once you say you violated the people, that's it. And then there's other things where I just think we kind of like over, exaggerated. You know what I'm saying? And I just let it be. But I don't watch the NBA because of Kaepernick. Even though he might have got his settlement, that's not my point. And that's not his point. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, you could settle this with him, but that has nothing to do with how that system is still being operated. So I can't support the system. You just trying to cover it up by making good with one person, but what about all of the others? You know what I mean? So with this understanding, I've always been just constantly rejecting H&Ms and when I'm saying on a regular local level, not the Prada Gucci, that stuff, but just even regular. If you insulted us, if you don't want us around, you don't mess with us, I'm cool. Like, I'm one of those type of people. I'm straight. So I never go back. Like I said, you told me that Reebok participated in apartheid. They disrespected, Nelson Mandela, who I held, in high regards. Stephen Biko, which like for me is like a god. You understand what I'm saying? Along with Prince Johnson and other people. But what I'm saying is that doesn't stop. What you did to them does not go away. What apartheid has done to Africa is done. I don't care how many people come, even in Africa. I don't care how many people forget and become happy and, let things be by. I'm not one of them people. If we got a beef, it's forever. You are not allowed in this area no more. If you over there, fine. But it's not over here. That's just how we give it up because you showed what you would do among us. So sorries and all of that, I don't rock with. I don't. You understand what I'm saying? Especially Reebok and all that. They never apologize, but I still see people wearing it. I've never, you know what I'm saying? Once I found out, those Reebok classics was out the window. Troop, never, you know what I mean? Like I'm just saying these things that always stuck in my mind. I was on it. So when Pac was on it, I was on it. When Public Enemy was on it, I was on it. Poor Righteous Teachers was on it, I was on it. You understand what I'm saying? KRS One, Ice Two. When these people was on it, I was on it. You understand what I'm saying? Like I said, I even got, the King T's, Black Together. I could go on and on with people that and the things that they did, that meant something to me. Friendly Game of Baseball by Main Source, Professor, Large Professor. Man, these songs and these things, you know, gave me purpose, gave me, a sense of I wasn't alone. You know what I'm saying? So the more hip hop, strayed from that, the more lonely I became. I'm being honest with you, right? Because in that era, I'm one of them, dudes in Central Parks, wilding, catching the jixes. I tell people all the time, Corey Wise, me and him actually went to school together. So when, we was actually in the same class and everything. Stevenson High School in the Bronx, right? And when he had got caught up, people knew me for being that type of person. So when he got caught up, I didn't even know, what I'm saying, about that, happening over there. But when I came to school, they was like, "Oh man, I thought it was you." They was saying somebody, you know what I mean? And so, that's just to tell you how much I've been on it. When those white kids, Albanians, went and shoe polished them black kids in the Bronx, when you hear about, and I can go pull up the reports of people going, oh yeah, we got the wrong people. Listen, we ran down on them. It was, me gathering people from three high schools. Stevenson, I mean, not Stevenson. At that time, it was Evander Childs High School in the Bronx. It was Clinton High School, because that's right. Like if you go in up on Gun Hill, you could be right over there by Clinton High School. So this is basically all on that strip. And then if you go down, you would be at Truman. So even though, a lot of the Truman dudes, were not necessarily cool with my people, but because of where I was located, meaning in Evander at that time, I went to four high schools. I was that bad, right? And when that happened, we basically went over there and got it popping. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna violate. That's not how it was given up. So if you see the reports, you go look at these news reports, you would see like, oh no, yeah, there were people who went back and put that work in, right? And I got people to tell you the whole story, how we almost got shot out there and everything. So I'm always for the people. Always. I've always been. And inside of that, yeah, I gotta call out, the sellouts, the agents, the coons, the cowards. That's just what it is. And so, this is why I say I can't be pro black. I can't be pro black because pro black, allows the coons, the cowards, and the agents to be there. I'm a revolutionist. So once I hear this, you see me, I call, the call to arms. What I put the symbol up in there, and you know what I mean? Like it's the call to arms to me. I'm not invited to a Farrakhan or any NOI or FOIs or Black Panthers or any of that because I'm the end result. I'm when the stones are thrown and all of that, and that's not what Like I said, none of those organizations are about, and I respect that. I respect that they're trying to do it in a diplomatic way. So I'm there once the chaos ensues and the rocks are thrown all of that stupid stuff. That's me, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going in there for TVs and all of that. Now I want the whole establishment out of here. So y'all better get in there quick, get what you want, because it's over once people like me pop up on the scene. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, when the lines have been drawn and you saying that this is the enemy, I'ma act accordingly. You know what I mean? That's just what it is. I'ma act accordingly. I have you know two riots in prisons and enough action out on the streets, more than enough physical altercations with the police and correction officers, for me to say that I've been putting myself on the line. You can see the marks, but this didn't happen in jail. But you know what I'm saying? It's just saying that, I've been on it inside and out. I don't care, man, woman, or child. I've been stabbed up by a female, and I actually had to go in and put that work in. Society would make you look like you the wrong guy, but hey, a stab wound from a man, woman, or child is gonna kill you all the same. You violate that on me, I'm gonna defend myself. So that's what I'm saying in this, right? He's calling the people to arms. He's telling the people, listen, man, don't let them violate our people. Don't let them harm them. I just don't understand how Kanye is taking, where inside of this is the offense.
You're afraid. When fear grips you because you think you're going to lose something that's dear to you, so you don't want to venture out because you're afraid.
You're afraid. I've been all over this nation. It was like a calling that I was running around, been everywhere, affiliated with all type of people. I'm not afraid. The message needed to get out. Once the internet came at a good time, me surviving all of, that stuff, to be able to even take sides with a Farrakhan, for, what I'm about. I'm about the revolution, right? Now, if the verbal person, like if somebody can express this, like a Aaron, if he's the Aaron of the thing, I'm a ride with it at this point. At this point, we need to stick together and we need to come to this realization and understanding real quick.
I say this, dear beloved, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. To resist means to withstand the action or the effect of. Because if you stand and fight with truth and unity, you'll never lose even what you got. They don't want to be shown up.
Nah, that's why I'm here. I'm ready here to expose them.
They want to put fear into you.
I'm not afraid.
And they do have power.
Yes, they do.
To hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
And God has plenty of power to hurt them.
Understand that. And the number one thing that can hurt them is exposing them, to bring the truth to them, right? Because the more people that know the truth, that puts them in danger whenever they try to use that on you. Because now, they know they can't come and use these devices in order to manipulate you. You can't use them. And I don't mean just, the money. I'm talking about simple things of, hey, I don't want to attack anybody on this show right here, right? But there's many door openings for a person to manipulate you with the things that they hope you are familiar with, right? So anything it could be gang activity, religion, it could be whatever. And so whenever you are familiar with that and they are familiar with you, they can use that against you, right? So as you can see, that was the end of anything that I could see of Kanye finding any offense, right? So that's the part that I came to when I said, I just don't see it, Kanye. I don't see why you would find offense to somebody trying to call the troops for your aid. Really, I guess it's because he's speaking of, on behalf of Kyrie more, and I think that the little parts of just mentioning billionaire, the things that followed it, you would have might have took it to you, but you're not the only billionaire who's not coming to the aid. Meaning that there's billionaires, Oprahs and Jay Z's, and they not even coming to your aid. So the billionaire and the contract and these type of things, I think Kanye was just, reaching. I hope they clear up what they have. I told you why I personally, if that was what he saw, you know, why I personally was able to get some things off of my chest that I've always said, but I'm not saying that's what the minister says. Until next time, you know, this is Juice Warner. And oh yeah, don't forget, man, this is Grand Strains Old Jaw Gritty. So don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, and that bell for more notifications so you can always be up on, what's popping here. I probably should have said that earlier. I gotta, keep that in my mind. But anyway, we out of here. One love.